Hey everyone, recently Storm Bowling came out with a new product to help two-handed bowlers, so we called on the one and only Steve Klemkin to talk about it. In fact, he even has a use case where it's used on both hands to help in a couple different ways. My name is Andrew Pfeffer, I'm the creator, producer, and host of Bowling with the Pfeff, and this is Hot Topics. And Steve is with us, the VP of Product Development with Storm, coming to us from Brigham City, Utah. Welcome to Hot Topics, Steve.
Pfeff, thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and appreciate the invitation.
We always love talking to you. You're kind of on the cutting edge of the new products that the company comes out with, and we love hearing about that new stuff from Storm. Case in point, we're talking about the Power Glove Throttle. There's a look at it. That's what it looks like. Steve, why did Storm create this product?
Well, I can tell you, Pfeff, the bowling industry and specifically, looking at different styles of players and what's been evolving, it's not anything new to anybody now, but not too long ago, two-handed bowling came on the scene, came on hot and heavy with the advent, really, Jason Belmonte and even Oscar Palermo before that created this whole new generation of players. And when you go on the PBA Tour now and you look at, for example, Kyle Troop and Chris Vi and Anthony Simonson, as well as Belmo, they just had recently won the USA versus the world match as well, too. This is a technique that is not going away. What is going away a little bit is the traditional wrist brace or wrist support that so many people were familiar with. You and I growing up, we were always told to have a very flat, firm wrist. And there was, when you release it, it was your fingers that were supposed to do the lifting and your wrist was supposed to stay braced front to back. Well, that's just not the case anymore. And so we, a couple of years ago, had introduced, probably about 6-7 years ago now, a product called the Power Glove. So that was the very first one, and it was one that had some interchangeable palm pads, but it was designed to be basically a sticky glove that you would use that would cover your hand, but also give you a little bit better connection between the index finger specifically and the palm. And so you would be able to control your release and kind of keep your hand in place a little bit more. Then we introduced a product that was called the Power Plus. And that one was a similar product like the original Power Glove, but it had two differences with that, which was there was a small gripper pad, a very thin gripper pad that was included with that. And then it also had a wrist wrap that came about. A lot of bowlers do need a little bit of wrist support there too. And it gave you a lot more of a firm wrist feel and a little bit more support around there, but gave you the advantages of the original Power Glove. So now what we've introduced is what we feel is the next generation and something that allows, now two-handed bowling is also, like we said, it's taken over the competitive bowling world. But there's also a lot of no-thumbers that are very popular, still competitive as well. Tom Doherty, for example, super competitive no-thumber, right? Just one hand. But what happens when you go in the bowling centers and you see people who pick up house balls now? There's not one of them that puts their thumb in it, right?
They love to see it hook.
They love to see it hook, and who doesn't love to see it hook?
Yeah.
But, what happens is now you're trying to find, okay, well, how do I get my hand on there the right way? But because of the surface of the ball gets slippery, and you end up losing that connection between the hand and the ball, which means you lose a little bit of control. So what we wanted to do is introduce this new product, Power Glove Throttle, which incorporates really what the benefits were of the original Power Glove with the Power Plus, puts it together, because as a no-thumber and most two-handers, you can't have any kind of a wrist wrap or wrist brace or wrist support. So you need to be able to have the ability to lay that against your forearm as well and have that good connection. So we have 4 different pads and we have the actual glove itself.
Yeah, let's talk about those pads. You sent a picture over, and I'll tell you, seeing them on their own, made me a little confused as to what they're for. Can you explain, what they're used for and how they can affect the shot making for a two-hander or a no-thumber?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you look at this right here, you can see on the left side of the screen, it's basically the thickest pad. And what that does with that pad is it kind of kicks the weight of the bowling ball off of your thumb and more towards your index finger, which it creates a little bit faster release for those bowlers who still do use their thumb, because this is the same pad that is available. These 3 pads are available on the original Power Glove. By adding the gripper pad, which is the one you see on the right, which is, again, it's very thin, but it's that same really sticky neoprene material. Whether you are a no-thumber or a two-hander, that part of the ball has to stay connected to the ball as you are swinging that ball back for maximum control. If you're looking at a ball that's like, let's say your spare ball, for example, or even the it could be a performance urethane, whether it's softer or harder, whatever it is. Any ball that doesn't absorb oil that quickly is going to basically sit on the surface. And even if you just watch the recent telecast, Chris Vi, he threw one shot. He was off and running. He won the first match on TV. In the second match, he threw one errant shot in the very inopportune time. I think it was in the 9th frame. Sailed out to the right, and he got a 4 count. Basically cost him the match, right, against Spencer. And what happened? He turned around and he looked at his hands like this, and he was like, and he was also basically motioning with that left hand. He was kind of making his hands like this, like it just literally just slipped off. And you see him all the times. And even Anthony Simonson, what's so interesting too. I bowled quite a few tournaments with Anthony now as well too, and he carries a wet towel and then a dry towel and 2 chamois all around with him all the time, because he's always trying to get that right feel, not just for his right hand, but also for his left hand.
Sure.
Yeah. And so these pads, for the most part, are going to be for these 3 different thickness pads. The ones on your left there are going to be used primarily for the players who do use their thumb. But the one that is the gripper pad is going to be the one that's going to work primarily for your two-handed player and the no-thumber as well. So it's going to let that ball sit a little deeper in the hand. And again, whether you use your left hand throughout the approach for a right-handed two-hander, if you use that left hand on the ball or you take it away, either one, it helps that ball sit in your hand better and stay connected to your forearm and to the ball. Everything stays connected as one piece a lot better.
Yeah. Let me ask you the question that's going to kind of bridge the gap between us talking about the Power Glove and bowlers actually experiencing it. And that is, what does it feel like? What is the maybe the time it'll take to get used to it, and the feel that's maybe different than a bare hand on the bowling ball?
Yeah, the original one, and really, and that's why we say it's a collection of 3 different versions, right? So really, if you are a two-handed player, this is going to be preferred for you, because you can use one of the smaller pads because you do have your left hand on the ball still while it's swinging. But what it does, when I was talking a little bit about that pressure point, is that it rotates where that pressure is on your hand, which is going to help dictate the type of roll that you have on the ball. There's a great video as well too that's part of our Storm Senior page on Facebook. Brad Angelo is such a good instructor, and he actually talks about how he's able to manipulate and affect the direction of the rotation of the ball based off of where the pressure point is on his hand. So these individual pads right here, these are cool because you can take and you can position them, use different sizes. You can also adjust and rotate the direction on your palm, which way it's positioned, because it's going to move that pressure point. Like if I have this real thick pad here in this direction, it's going to point it right towards my index finger, which is going to keep me going up the back of the ball a little bit more. As I rotate that pad a little bit more towards my middle finger, my ring finger, or even towards my pinky, it increases the axis rotation, gets my hand more around the side of it. And that doesn't matter whether you use your thumb or if you don't use your thumb, and whether you have your opposite hand on the ball during the approach or you don't have your opposite hand on the approach. These are key ways to affect and adjust your ball roll, which is a difference between winning a tournament or just kind of finishing middle of the pack.
Yeah. When you need just one more hit, sometimes that ability to make those fine adjustments really, really helps out. And of course, this is out now. Do we get it at Storm VIP Pro Shops?
Absolutely, we do. Yep.
Okay.
It's available in your Storm VIP Pro Shop. It's available for either the right hand or the left hand, small, medium, large, and XL. And the one thing that's kind of interesting too, and you'll notice, and I would encourage everybody here who sees this to go out and watch a video, just watch a little bit. Look, Arturo Quintero. Now, most people know him on the PBA Tour for what he did as part of the Portland team, right? The Tim Mack coach up there in Portland, Maine, the Lumberjacks. And he actually wears 2 power gloves when he bowls. One has the pad that helps dictate how fast it gets off the thumb, but he also wears a glove on his left hand that again gives him that control, and he does that with his thumb in it. So this is something where, especially for those who are, creative or looking at different ways to solve a problem, if you do have an issue with that, like what we said, what happened with Chris Vi on that show, where it just kind of slips off the left hand sometimes, there's no reason you couldn't wear one on each hand, just like Arturo does, honestly.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting. Lots of applications for the new Storm Power Glove Throttle. Steve, it's been a pleasure talking with you and learning a little more about Storm's new product. Really appreciate that. Folks, for more information on Ipsia, you know the place, ipsia.com. You can find out all the benefits of membership, plus everything that's going on within the organization. And if you like what you saw here today, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It's free, it's easy, and it really does help us continue to make great bowling content.